is the American You're listening to Potsy and Tino show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the ring general. No. Okay. I'm not as good as Corey Graves at that. The Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world, the Potsy and Tino show. That's right. The road dog, Tino Gray. The badass, Rob Potsy Potchak.
The old age outlaws.
The guys that need to go to sleep before 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, because I got to be up early. So
yep. So anyways, our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats. It's called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for
99
cents. And folks, lots going on this week. Lots going on both at your birthday party. And then lots going on now because obviously last week was San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
Which pretty much, like we announced my books and everything at the show last week. We announced them on the show last week at the same time. This weekend is GalaxyCon in Raleigh, where I'm not actually at the show, but I will be at the show tomorrow, just walking around as a patron. So Tino, we always start the show, and we've already got 4 messages in there from Joe Lowe and Michael Turner. Joe, are you in town?
I am pulling over.
Hold on, I'm asking Joe if he's in town.
He's not answer you right away. So
well, he'll answer me in a second. Michael said 9-9.
9-9.
Joe, you were supposed to be in Raleigh this weekend, right? Yeah. So I unfortunately will not be. Oh, okay. If there's anything you want me to try to do, I am walking around as a patron. Just let me know. No guarantees. Tomorrow, my plan is to show up at the show wearing Star Trek Picard Season 3 cosplay.
Not knowing that damn dumbass jacket.
Did you just call my jacket a dumbass jacket?
It's a nerd jacket.
I will slap you. I can take that off.
Okay.
It's a magnet. But you goddamn right, it's going to be on there. Hey, dude, the amount of Star Trek people that are at the show tomorrow.
There's okay. I'll give you that.
It is Terry Metalis, the guy that actually runs the show. You've got Jonathan Frakes, director, and Will Riker. You've got Gates McFadden, who played Beverly Crusher.
Is Worf going to be there?
Michael Dorn, you know what? I don't remember.
That's my dude. I like Worf.
He now writes the Steel comic book for DC Comics.
Really?
Yes. Just came out about 3 weeks ago. Geordie LaForge is going to be there. LeVar Burton, Brent Spiner. Will Wheaton's not going to be there.
Oh, that's some other dude.
No, I'm okay with Will Wheaton.
No. Brent Spiner.
Yeah, Brent Spiner will be there. Terry Metalis, like I said, showrunner. Todd Stashwick, the guy that played Captain Liam Shaw, is going to be there. The one that made me buy the jacket.
Who's the dude you like?
Liam Shaw.
The one that's always talking shit.
Yes. Yes. Todd Stashwick. Where when Picard and Riker say, "Hey, we want to go ahead and take the ship and go this way," he's like, "No." And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "You don't get to the position that I'm in by just listening to a retired admiral and a captain without a ship and take it into the middle of the neutral zone." And of course, Riker's like, "But we thought it would be a good idea." And Picard sits there and says, "I outrank you." And he goes, "But you're retired and you don't have a ship. I'm a captain of a ship. We're just going to keep this ball rolling the way that it is."
Okay.
And it's so good, dude, because you're talking about people that have 4 movies, 7 seasons of a show, and this guy in his first episode is like, no. and he goes the entire season basically You finally find out, if you haven't watched Picard season 3, folks, it's absolutely some of the best Star Trek ever. But he literally sits there and finally explains why he does not like them.
Oh my, Helios.
Helios. Are you trying to meet anyone at GalaxyCon, Rob? Yes, the answer to that question is yes. I do want to meet Todd Stashwick. Specifically, I have a bottle of bourbon that I have not opened yet, so that I can take it up to him and be like, hey, would you like to share some bourbon with me? Because he is a bourbonista.
Okay.
So I hope that means he will sign my jacket. At the same time, he's also a D&D player. And my buddy, Billy, who has worked on,
Excuse me.
has worked on plenty of junior high horrors comics, as well as his own book called The D Word, owns a gaming bar in Raleigh, 5 blocks away from where the convention's happening. So I'm thinking maybe get him to sit there and say that he'll show up and make an appearance there. Interestingly enough, another person that I would like to meet is Stephen Amell. He played Arrow.
Yes, he's gonna be there.
He is, and
Is it this weekend? It's the
the
premiere.
28th is the premiere of Heels. And he has already gone onto social media and said, where should I go in Raleigh to have a Heels
Friday.
launch party? That's tomorrow. So the idea is to try to get him out to Ruckus or SideQuest.
Maybe better SideQuest. They don't kind of sound like Ruckus.
Well, they basically they basically, I don't think T's in the audience.
Mr.
Oh
Helios.
yes, Mr. Helios.
That's what I thought. Helios. You're like Helios.
So yeah, I did say that. If and T, you're gonna have to get the approval for this, but if we do get Stephen Amell to show up and actually play stars on the TVs over there, I assume we will have volume. The question is whether or not they're staying close to the airport or if they're staying close to the convention center. Because if they're staying close to the convention center, it means going to SideQuest is within walking distance. If they're going too close to the airport, it means that Ruckus is within driving distance. So lots of little stuff like that. Michael, also my favorite comic book artist of all time, is actually going to be there. So that's the reason why I really, really want to be there. A guy by the name of Simon Bisley is going to be there. He drew Lobo back in the day. He did all the covers of Doom Patrol when Richard Case was actually drawing the comic.
Did you say Kevin Owens? Was that this?
Kevin Owens was there today. So I will not. Although Terrence, Mr. Helios, you know a little something about where the WWE performers like to hang out after their time at different things, right? Did I tell you about that? So Terrence posted a picture of him with I was going to say the Hurt Business. I meant the
Street Profits.
Street. No, it was Jey Uso. Mr. Helios, can you get Joey Fatone's autograph? I can try. What do you want it on?
The Usos.
So Jey Uso was there, and the Hit Row was there. And so Terrence posted a picture at 1:30 in the morning. Damian Priest was also there with them.
Where was it?
It was at Woody's in Cary.
Oh, my boy Sean knows Woody's in Cary. Cool.
1:30 in the morning. We can talk off the air about what they were asking about. But anyways, so with that said, so those are the main people that I'd like to meet at the show. There are probably 4 or 5 other actors. Mick Foley's going to be there, so there's going to be a bunch of different wrestlers and everything. William Shatner's going to be there. It's going to be a really busy fucking weekend for all the people at that show. The thing I'm a little disappointed by is that they're moving the artist alley area, so the actual people that have to pay for their little tables and everything to try to sell their wares, they're moving them up to one of the ballrooms, which means they're not on the same floor as everybody else. So I'm a little disappointed by that. Luckily, I don't have it. Well, because if I had bought a table, you're talking like a $500 table, and people might not even walk up there. It's like on the 3rd floor. So the bottom floor is the floor where all the celebrities are and all the vendors, and then you have the artist alley like on the 3rd floor with the ballrooms. So yeah, it's a interesting layout, and I'm gonna take a look at it tomorrow. Might be there again on Saturday. Michael, I'm gonna try to say hi to Megan while she's out there because she's supposed to be dressed up as Pinhead tomorrow, so that'll be pretty cool.
You said Morrisville. Woody's Morrisville. That's where.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the one off of Morrisville Parkway. I always said it was Cary because that's what it used to be. So that's the one we used to always go to the wrestling shows. Anyways, what's been going on with you, Tino?
Well, my 50th was the 15th, 2 Saturdays ago, and I was coming back from the beach. So, had my jam last Saturday. Had everybody come out, watch the band play. Had a fucking blast.
Yeah, you got Blitzkrieg out there.
No, it wasn't that bad. Rob, you got Blitzkrieg, I didn't.
I did not. I had 8 beer while I was there.
Nicole was even. She was like, "I'm surprised you didn't drink more because I was working. I couldn't."
She kept going. Tino's drunk.
No, but I wasn't. If I was drunk,
That's what she kept saying though.
If I was drunk, the show would have been over. Because I wouldn't have been. I'd be like,
Wobble would have taken
I would
over.
have been able to play. But it was cool having all my, just everybody there. My cousin came. One of my coworkers, she came. Well, a lot of my coworkers were out there. Rob was there. Jason made surprise. I was surprised to see Jason there. So
Blitzball Champ was out there. Yeah.
So it was a good time.
He was so funny.
Wow.
So you obviously were playing. So I mean, like, he was just sitting there and he's eating like what he ordered, and then all of a sudden, like, the group of people started trying to ask him questions, and he was just like, "Well, I and like you know how it all of a sudden got to the point where we brought up the
bathroom thing?
Yeah.
How'd that come up?
Well, you know.
I was playing. I don't know.
Jason actually brought it up.
What did he say? I was not there. I was playing. I was working.
Okay, now
you're like, bitch, I don't know. That's
well, you know how it comes up. Every time we see Jason, we bring it up. So we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, before you know it, like Jason's like, I gotta tell you that my favorite show that you guys did was when you just talked about like the whole bathroom, and I'm like, really? Like, we just made fun of you for like 45 minutes during that. He's like, but it was funny, and I'm like, Jason, I want to tell you something right now. Last week when Tino was over the house and he got up to go to the bathroom, I told him to knock before he went. and everybody else sitting at the table suddenly like, what do you mean knock before you go to the bathroom? And I'm like, Jason, would you like to tell the story? And he's like, oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah, so Tino's party was a lot of fun.
Then Monday, had to get up. No, it started Sunday. So I had a colonoscopy Monday. So Sunday, you had to take that prep shit.
Did you get ice cream?
I don't get ice cream for what? No, you can't eat dairy. I can drink milk.
What about after?
No.
I would have had ice cream
after. I had a fucking Whopper because I didn't.
It's not a vasectomy you, it's a vasectomy.
I didn't have a vasectomy. I had a colonoscopy. Yes. So, up until noon.
It's not a colonoscopy you, it's a colonoscopy.
So after 12, excuse me, that damn soda. After 12, I had to switch over to clear liquids. And so I'm like, well, what? So after 12, the only thing I had was fucking chicken broth and water. And that's it. That's all I could eat. So I was fucking home. And Nicole's like, well, I guess.
How big were the fingers?
For what?
For the colonoscopy.
Are you an idiot?
Haven't you ever heard the joke that you have to find a doctor with small hands?
That's prostate. I had a colonoscopy.
Okay. Continue.
It's a difference. So you're a dumbass. So
I hate you.
So at 6 o'clock, that's when it started. So you get there's 6 ounce bottles. So you drink one in the next day, but at 6 o'clock, I had to chug this 6 ounce bottle, and then I had to drink just water.
It's like barium, right?
I don't know what the fuck it was. It tasted like sour Robitussin. And I chugged it. And so I drank my water, and I was like, oh, that's not that bad. So as about an hour later, I'm like, this is supposed to kick in, right? So I'm sitting there, and Nicole's like reading. She goes, usually about 2 hours. I'm like, all right. So we're chilling about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm like,
oh, God.
no, it wasn't even like that. I'm like, you know, my stomach started bubbling. I'm like, feels like I got a fart, but I know better. Don't.
I love that we talk about shit like this.
I
just said we talk about shit like this.
If I trust this fart, I might fuck up my couch, my pants. I'm gonna go in the bathroom.
So you were at home?
You can't go nowhere but home.
I thought you were at the doctor.
No. This is the night before.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta start. That starts clearing you
Oh,
out.
you got to clean it out. Gotcha.
So I'm like, oh shit. So I went.
Oh shit.
And you know when you when it's like something when we talked about it's like something about when your mind sees the fucking toilet. It's like
it's too late.
It's like go for it. I'm like, no, bitch, no. I was barely on the damn toilet. It's like, whoa.
Did I send you that TikTok today?
Which one?
The one about like you got 15 minutes to get home.
Yeah. So Nicole's like, she goes, oh, you really had to pee. I'm like, damn, I didn't pee. She goes, holy shit. It literally
and you were like, yes, it was.
Sounded like you just sound like, you know when you just have to have
yes.
The world's longest like pee. No, that was coming out my ass. And from then on, I don't think I stopped shitting my brains out till like dang 12 o'clock. But then the fucked up part is, so I had to be there at 8:15 because my appointment's at 9:15. So 5 hours before I had to be there, you got to get up and drink that other one. So I finally
2 hours later.
So I finally fell asleep. No, I think I fell asleep like 11:30, but I had to be up at 3:15. And once I got up at 3:15 and drank, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going back to sleep. So I was up at 3:15.
You just playing video games or something?
No, that's shit. So they said to make, and I was reading, it was like, yeah, make sure you're, if you got to be in the bathroom, make yourself comfortable. They said have wet wipes. They said you had the diaper cream. I'm like, what the fuck? And it burned. So
you need the mint flavored.
No, this is what I did. So because every time I thought I was done and I'd get up and go out the bathroom, it would hit me again. So I had to sit it. So I made myself at home. I pulled the trash can over. I had my laptop, put it on there. I'm just sitting on the toilet watching TV. And that's what I did. And then at 3:15, I did my thing. I didn't go back to sleep. And then I got home after my colonoscopy, and I was like, well, they put me to sleep with propofol. Propofol is some good shit. At first, I'm like, I don't want to do it because that's what took Michael out. But it's like, no. And so and then he was like, I saw it in the thing. He goes, yeah. He goes, enjoy your nap. He said, all right, here we go. Enjoy your nap. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, it's not working. It's not.
Count back from 100.
Because it's weird.
98.
No. So I was like, it's not working. As soon as I said it's not working, I can start. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I was out. And then next thing I know, I woke up. Nicole was beside me. I'm like, all right, I guess.
How was it? No, that's what I mean. That's what I would have asked.
Well,
how was it?
He said, they only found like 2 little small polyps, which is
normal. Yeah.
And they said he took it out and they said they'll biopsy and it'll probably, like they always are, it'll be precancerous, but whatever. But yeah, dude. And what's weird is because that when you're asleep, they put the tube in there and have the camera so you can see what they're doing. They fucking took pictures. So I got these pictures of the polyp inside my asshole. I don't know how I feel about it. Because they want to see, you can see, well, there are the polyps. I'm like, you really.
I don't need to see that. Just do what you got.
And took color pictures of the inside of my ass.
That's very pink, I'm sure.
Yes. And gave it to me. I'm like, okay. Thank you, I think. But I was worried about it because I have a fear of, I don't like being put under.
Sure.
because I'm scared.
Yeah, you're not gonna wake up. Although, let's be real, if they put you under and you don't wake up, there's worse ways to go.
Yeah, but I got shit to do.
It's funny you say that.
I mean, I'm not scared. When it's my time, it's my time.
So did anything else happen during your week? Because that actually made me think of something.
And the colonoscopy.
I mean, that's
it.
I mean, that's.
Yeah. So the birthday party and the colonoscopy is the highlights of my week. Yeah.
At least you had the birthday party first.
Yes.
Yeah. So I finished that show, A Million Little Things. Finished it at like 1:00 in the morning last night.
I finished What We Do in the Shadows. Well, not finished. I'm caught up. So
Gotcha.
it's just hilarious.
Well, A Million Little Things is listed as a comedy and a drama.
Yeah, it would depress me. I don't think I'm gonna watch that.
I cried almost every episode.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
And you know me, man. Like yes, I've become very close to my emotions.
I don't know why.
Yeah, nobody knows why, and I don't know why either. I guess I just let my guard down, and I was like, fuck it, let's just go ahead and like, oh wow, this is like hitting me. Like, what is this? What is this discharge coming out of my eyes? You know, but I cried so hard during the last 2 episodes of that series. And it's because so the one of the main characters is the guy that was Sean in Psych.
Mm.
You've watched Psych.
Yes.
And in that show, there's like nothing that would make you cry. But you want more?
That was good.
This is
Did I give you a taste of the one that she gave me
no.
on my birthday? And a little cylinder I did?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It was good. It was good. This is expensive stuff.
Oh, okay. That's all.
No, you can you don't normally ask for a second, so you could have a second. And I didn't pour a lot, so it's not like it's like double or anything. But
you cried in the last episode.
Well, so in the first episode of the show, and by the way, I might have said how I started watching it last week.
Yeah.
Which was Hulu just decided to say, hey, we're going to start this show after you finish this other show. And most of the shows I watch are like Sons of Anarchy or Mayans. So there's lots of like guns blazing and everything. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Office Space. Okay. Ron Livingston. And in fact, Amazon has a show called Loudermilk that he is the main character. And he's pretty much the same character he was in Office Space in terms of his demeanor, where he is just an asshole. But it's in Loudermilk, it's because he's a recovering alcoholic that is also the person that runs the AA meetings.
Okay.
So like when he walks into a place and he's like, hey, can I just get a cup of hot water so I can put my own tea bag into the drink? The guy's like, we don't give hot water out. And he's like, well, why don't you give hot water out? And he's like, because you could throw it in my face. He's like, do I look like I would throw it in your face? He's like, sir, are you threatening me? And he's like, no, I just want hot water because I brought my own tea to put in because you don't offer it. And the guy's like, well, we don't allow for that. He's like, let me ask you something. Is hot coffee really just water with coffee grains in it that have been strained through it? And he's like, yes. And he's like, so if I were to ask for that, you would give that to me and I could throw that in your face. He's like, sir, are you threatening me? And finally, like the girl that's with him is like, would you just give him a cup of hot water so he could put his tea in it? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with people? And so they both look at each other. It's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. That's the kind of show that is, right? And the show's hilarious, but it's by the Farrelly brothers. So it's the guys who did There's Something About Mary, Stuck on You, all the Me, Myself, and Irene, all those films. But it really does have moments of like, oh my God, that really hits you. Like the second to last episode, there's a comedian named Brian Regan, and he plays one of the recovering alcoholics, and he's doing so well. And he goes to his daughter's Christmas party or whatever, and his daughter wanted him to be there because he's doing so well. And all of a sudden, like, he feels like he's messing things up. So he goes up to the bar, and before you know it, he's fucking hammered. Right? And suddenly he is like just destroyed. And he goes to his AA meeting and he quits. He's like, this isn't helping. You guys aren't doing anything for me. And of course, you know, like Loudermilk sits there and he's like, but you came to the meeting, which means you know that this is helping. And he's like, no, I came to the meeting to tell you guys off because you guys are fucking up my life even more than I fucked up my life. And he walks out of the meeting and like it's such a performance that you wouldn't expect just a comedian who's not an actor to sit there and do that. But like he nailed it, right? So anyway, Ron Livingston, the guy that plays Loudermilk, is one of the 4 guys at the beginning of A Million Little Things where they basically become friends because they all get stuck in an elevator together. And in the very first episode, Ron Livingston's character kills himself. Just walks off a ledge, off of like an 18-story building, whoop, just goes. Come to find out, one of the characters is sleeping with his wife. One of the characters, you know, had breast cancer. Male character had breast cancer. You know, and that's the guy that played Sean in Psych, who is the only other actor from the entire show that I go, I know that guy. Right. Like everyone else, I'm like, where did they find these people for an ABC TV show, right? So anyway, the reason why I say that this is important is because I didn't think I would become emotionally invested in it. But 2 episodes in, I'm sitting there like, shit, I want to see where this goes. And I knew it went 5 seasons, so I was like, all right, let's see, whatever. And I hate to ruin it for everybody. The show ended earlier this year, so I mean, you had plenty of time to watch all the way up to now if you wanted to. But the character that played Sean in Psych ends up with lung cancer. He doesn't smoke. He also shouldn't have gotten breast cancer because only 1% of males get breast cancer, kind of thing. And the last 2 episodes are him basically saying goodbye. And dude, it wrecked me. It wrecked me so bad that like I went to bed at like midnight last night, right? And I don't ever go to bed that early. I'm normally in bed like 1, 2 in the morning, whatever. And maybe it was like 1 in the morning. I don't know. But I go to bed. I wake up at almost 10 in the morning. Okay. And I never sleep that long. I'm normally up by like 7 at the latest. And I'm like, oh God, another 7 o'clock morning. You know, like, yeah. But I woke up and I was like, it feels later. And I looked at my watch. I'm like, holy shit, it's 9:40. Like, you know, and luckily I don't have anything. You know, I didn't have to be at work. But but I wake up and I had this sense of dread in me. And the reason why was because I had a nightmare. Like I didn't wake up during it. I stayed asleep during the whole thing, and I remember it. And it was basically me having to tell everybody that I had an inoperable brain tumor. Now, the only reason I'm saying this to everybody is because obviously I watched a show where 2 characters had to deal with cancer twice each and everything else. No, Rob, Tino got violated. Tino, just admit it. You got roofied. Did they give you the pics in an 8x10, Tino, to hang on the wall? No, that was Michael, by the way. That wasn't Chris Barrett. Well played, Michael. Well played. Well played. But I woke up and I had this sense of dread, and I was like, that was just a dream, right? You know, because like the last thing I want to do is will something into. Don't do that shit. But I told you, I had an idea for a new comic book. Not going to explain it tonight or anything else, but I explained it to Tino. And it's deep. Yeah. But it's good. So, like, everyone I've mentioned it to or whatever has been like, damn. And the joke that I said, I one of the artists that I want to work with on something, he was like, hey, I'm waiting for you to rewrite this one script that you said you're going to rewrite so that I can start drawing it. And I was like, well, I might need to put that off because I think I came up with a better idea that leads into that story. And he's like, really? And I said, yeah, what if this, and this? And he goes, huh, wow. And I said, yeah, I really want to write an Eisner winning comic book. And Eisner's are like the Oscars of comics. And he goes, I think you might have just willed that into existence. And I'm like, huh. And then I said, man, if only I could find an artist that wants to draw it. And then the message I got back was me. So, as we said last week, Zor got officially announced. Immortal got officially announced, both for early 2024 launches. I have these really cool ideas for Zor covers, dude. Like, I asked Billy, who obviously did the action figure variant of Mandalorian, and I was like, dude, do you think that you could do? I got 3 ideas, and one of the ideas, I'll go ahead and explain it. So Monday night I was singing karaoke with Cliff Blazinski. You know, there's a picture that has 19,000 views of me and him with our little plaques from San Diego Comic-Con on it, and at one point he just looks at me and goes, you know, I already told you, Rob, that it's going to be a really good book. Like you're on to something. Like, it's got heart, it's got this, it's got that. It's really good. He said, I could even see it being a side-scrolling video game.
What is a side-scrolling video?
Side-scrolling video game is one where you basically start on the left side and you just, like Mario Brothers.
Oh, okay.
You know, or Super Mario Brothers. Because Mario Brothers, you just like this. Super Mario Brothers, you went from left to right until you jumped on the thing at the end. You know. And he said, I could see it being a side-scrolling video. I'm like, well, Cliff, I don't really know anybody that makes video games. And he's like, shut up, man. I don't make video games anymore. It's like, okay. But got me thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have a cover that looks like an original, like, Nintendo game box?
Okay.
So I was like, let's do that. And Michael, the artist for it, is like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm like, okay, I think I might know a guy that could do that. Then I said, Zor also looks like a character that could probably get his own pop vinyl at some point. So what if we had an artist do a pop vinyl box? Except because we can't use pop vinyl, we call it Potsy vinyl.
Okay.
And Michael's like, man, I love the fact that you're getting really excited about all this.
Nice.
So I know people that can do that. And then finally, you know how like the Marvel action figures, when they come out now, they have something called Build-A-Figure, where there's like a piece of another figure inside the box.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so like if there's 6 figures, there's normally 5 pieces, and the 6th figure just doesn't have one for some reason. It's like, oh, you got left out, whatever. But the other 5 all have like a chunk of a figure, so it could be like Juggernaut or something. So you get like Juggernaut's arm, or you get Juggernaut's body, or you get his head, or whatever. So I said, what if we did, for the 3 issues of Zor, we did a Build-A-Figure action figure cover where we take one of the figures or one of the characters from each of them, and then the Build-A-Figure is Lady Hourglass, the big bad from it, because we don't want to give away what she looks like. So what if we just have like her torso in the one as like the figure, like, and so I said this, and Billy, who, like I said, knows how to do all this stuff and does amazing work with it. He's like, yeah, I think I can come up with something. Let me try to figure it out. Okay, cool. So he's working all that. When I walked in tonight, our buddy Sean Beck, who has done covers for Junior High Horrors, also did a cover for Immortal, and of course did my tattoo, called me up on his way to Maine saying, hey, I keep getting all these major Hollywood people sit there and say they really like my idea, but they think it ought to be a comic book before we try to make it into a TV show kind of thing. Know anybody that might be willing? And I'm like, the fuck you saying, Sean? Yes, I'll help you make but you have to put the legwork into it. And he's like, well, I don't want to draw it. I don't want to. And it's like you're a fucking artist. That's what you do, But I totally understand where he's coming from. He explained it to me a couple weeks ago when I was driving to the comic book shop, and he was basically like, while I'm invested I'm going to put out the best possible piece of work I can, which is why I never miss deadlines, because like as soon as you tell me about the idea and I'm like, yeah, I got this idea, and he's just putting it all on the iPad or whatever, and all of a sudden you look at it, it's like, fuck, that's amazing. But with a comic book where you have to do 20 something pages, he's afraid that like 4 or 5 pages in,
he's gonna get bored.
He gets bored, and he's like, so I don't want to do that. I want someone else to do that. And even tonight, he was sitting there trying to like break down some of the other ideas, and like how like if someone were to lay out the book, so say this character looks this way and doing this with this kind of background, whatever, that he'd be able to then take that little image and be able to make something out of it. So, you know, I've told him all along, I'll help him do whatever to get this book made, because the more I help, the more likely it gets made into a TV show and whatever. And, you know, like my whole thing is, if I help you do it, just take care of me, you know? So that's really what's been going on with me.
Okay.
Because I haven't gotten a single phone call back about a job. I've gotten like 4 rejections this week. So even fewer than I normally get. It's just a weird process right now for all that. I even put in a retail position job for Verizon, and they said no. And I'm like,
why did they say no?
how the fuck would I know? Like, I'm more than qualified for the job.
You have to go back.
No, fuck no.
You're gonna have to go back.
No. I'll sell the house and be out of work for 5 years. I don't care.
Where are you gonna live?
I'll rent an apartment. I'll have enough money to do it if I sell the house. Anyways, yeah, not. That's about how long I'd be able to do it. I won't be here. I won't be around long enough for that anyway. So it's okay.
Shut up. Anyway.
I mean, if the dream comes true. Anyways.
Go to SmackDown.
Go to SmackDown. So the week after Raleigh, North Carolina, they were in like Oklahoma. And for some reason, Oklahoma, or wherever they were, Kansas City, wherever the fuck it was, gets Roman Reigns. But Raleigh doesn't, right? So they do the rules of engagement, which ends the show. And there wasn't really a lot that went on during the show that made me think that, okay, let's go ahead. But the show didn't bore me.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel special.
Didn't I think, who did Dom wrestle?
The main event, he wrestled Butch.
Yes.
And Dominic Mysterio became the first wrestler ever to main event Raw, NXT, and SmackDown in the same week.
Yep.
And that is quite a feat.
Because who did he fight Monday? Was it Finn? It was a
tag team match. It was a tag team match against Owens and Zayn. It was him and Damian Priest, I believe.
Then he won the belt Tuesday.
Then he won the belt Tuesday against Wesley.
And then he defended it Friday. But all 3 nights he was in the main event. Yeah. And I think they won all 3 of them. But while that was the main event, what closed the show? Yeah, because Roman's, I'm either going to go first or last.
And I mean, you know, at the beginning of the show, I thought it was funny that Roman, the Wise Man, and Solo were all walking in, and like somebody walks by Heyman, and Heyman's like why are you near me? Like get away, you know? Like, and suddenly like he's like 4 steps behind the other two, and he's got to catch back up. Just made me laugh. But not really a lot other than that happened. I mean, you had more advancement, and obviously the announcement of Bianca versus Asuka versus Charlotte.
Which you knew was coming.
We knew it was coming. It's really, and Austin Theory, like, oh, this is what happened. You had a 4-way dance match for the advancement to the finals of the United States
that bullshit
Championship tournament, and it was Rey Mysterio versus Sheamus versus Cameron Grimes. I think your phone's going off. Versus L.A. Knight.
Who should have fucking won?
And when L.A. Knight came out, what I thought was funny about it was before the commercial, they had Rey Mysterio pop out, do his whole thing, come running out, come down to the ring. When we got back from commercial, Cameron Grimes and Sheamus were already in the ring, and then they're like, and now L.A. Knight, and then L.A. Knight comes out, and he's got a microphone in hand, and he's like, let me talk to you.
He is so fucking overrated. They're gonna fucking waste him. They're not. I think I sent you that TikTok where like you need to strike while the iron's hot, and they fucked up so many times.
Well, interestingly enough, I know you'd be talking about this show, but Shawn Michaels was actually a guest on that show, and he was talking about how L.A. Knight is a student of the game, not student of Triple H, but a student of wrestling. I know. And I mean, technically, he is a student of Triple H, but Shawn Michaels basically was saying that when other people were in charge, he was doing everything he could to make sure they didn't get rid of him.
Who, LA Knight or Shawn Michaels?
Shawn Michaels was saying.
No, he was. Who was trying to make?
He's a. Shawn Michaels was saying, I'm trying to make sure that this guy doesn't get let go.
There you go.
And he's like, and luckily he made it past all that. And then of course Hunter got put in charge, and now you just see that like dude's got a rocket ship strapped to his ass. Now, granted, he's got a rocket ship strapped to his ass, but what happens during the match on Friday night, Tino?
Fucking loses. I don't understand what the point of Ray and Santos is.
So here's what makes that really interesting. Do you know where they were Saturday night?
Tijuana.
They were in Tijuana, Mexico. Or Mexico City. I mean, they were in Mexico. Would have made a lot of sense to just have the belt change hands that night, right?
What belt?
The United States Championship.
But Ray, they haven't fought yet.
My point is, wouldn't that have made more sense?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because we've always seen where the WWE sits there and really tries to maximize on the moment, right? So all of a sudden, let's say you go, you know what? We're going to change up that tournament. We're going to stop it from being the finals, and we're just going to make it a three-way dance, and the winner is the United States champion, which, Austin Theory would come out, whoa, I don't like this idea, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you have a three-way dance, and you get to sit there on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown and sit there and say, hey, this is what happened in Tijuana, Mexico this past weekend. It's always a good idea to go to a WWE live event. And boom.
They should have done that.
Whoever would be the champion at that point would be the champion, right? Like, cool. Then you could say, hey, LA Knight suddenly comes out Friday night and goes, boom, I want this match against the winner of that, because now's the time for me to strike while the iron's hot, and you have your SummerSlam match. But that didn't happen. So I don't really know what they're thinking, except as of today, there is a rumor, and I don't put a lot of green into this rumor, because they're saying they think that he's going to have a moment at SummerSlam, and the moment is going to be a face-off with none other than a returning Randy Orton. Which I'd be okay if LA Knight comes out, sits there, and goes, let me talk to you.
What sense does that make?
And he sits there and he says, I'm the new legend. I'm the new legend. I'm the legend that everybody, listen to the crowd. You obviously know that I'm legendary. And then all of a sudden, Randy Orton comes out and he goes, oh, so you're legendary, huh? You're legendary.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, let me introduce myself to you. Randy Orton, legend killer.
I think if Orton comes back, he's going to come back for.
He's got to come back as babyface, right?
Yeah, but I think they'll probably get RK Bro back together, and they'll probably do the split like you're talking, the turn, and have that feud, because I think that's what they wanted to do before he went out.
I don't think they actually want to split them up. I think that like the problem that we're running into is that like LA Knight needs a big time heel to go against him right now, because he is so over that unless you have a big time heel going up against him, it's going to fall flat.
And that's the problem. They haven't built anybody.
Well, the biggest problem is that they're not willing to move those world titles.
Yeah.
Like, had he won Money in the Bank, he could take Seth Rollins' title. And that would put him over. And then you would build a heel by having the heel beat him. And then they feud the way that Austin and The Rock did. But they're not willing to do it. And that's where the problem lies. That really is where the problem lies.
Comments. Let's see, check the comments.
Okay, yeah. Sarah Queen, don't be friends with someone with color. Don't be friends with someone with color you in the back. Beware of them.
What?
I don't know.
Who's that?
LA Knight versus Michael. Are you trying to say Bray? Bloodline story has been going on too long. It's time to end. I don't know what this Sarah Queen thing is. I'm still looking at the note. Tino got violated. At least he was put out while he was violated, right? Yeah, you didn't know it happened, so it didn't really happen. Yeah. So all right, let's move on. What show you want to talk about?
Probably wrong.
Okay, because I didn't watch AEW Collision or the other Monday Night Raw.
You didn't watch Collision?
No, because Collision really hasn't been doing anything for me. This week I'm going to watch it because it's MJF and Adam Cole versus FTR.
Bye.
Yes, it's MJF Bebe versus FTR. So
that is the wrong one. Sorry. So
we are.
Oh, because I put the wrong damn year.
So while you're looking that up, you know, I've been watching all the Star Trek shows recently, right? And they did a crossover episode between Strange New Worlds, which happens before Kirk took over the Enterprise, so it's Captain Pike, and Lower Decks, which is the cartoon, which is in canon but is like all comedy all the time.
Okay.
So they're just making fun of like all the different things that have happened in Star Trek throughout the years, and it's cartoon, and the other one's a live action show. So they started the episode with actually like a cartoon portion where the characters from Lower Decks are like, oh, we're here to look at this portal, but you know the portal hasn't been on in 120 years. So they start taking pictures of the one guy sitting there doing the live long and prosper thing, starts taking pictures, and it activates the portal and it gets sucked through. And when he gets sucked through, he becomes live action with the crew of the Enterprise.
Oh my god.
And it's the same actor who plays him as the cartoon character played him in the show.
That's cool.
And it's the guy from The Boys, Jack Quaid, to Dennis Quaid's son.
Okay.
And he's got purple hair. And he keeps, because they're 120 years in his past, he keeps sitting there saying stuff like, oh, well, you know, it's Captain Pike's birthday on Friday. And they're like, oh, you know it's Captain Pike. How do you know it's Captain Pike's birthday? Well, you know, in my history, it's a holiday. And he's like, oh, damn it. He's like, not allowed to say that stuff.
Oh, God.
And then all of a sudden, just as they're getting ready to send him back through the portal, his commanding officer comes flying through, and it's like, now we don't have any power to sit there and open the portal again. It's the two of them sitting there, and she's like, is Uhura here? You guys are cool, but like Uhura's like the shit. So like, can I meet her? Or It's so good. And then the like when they finally get them back at the end of the episode, they get this alcohol, right, in the Enterprise days. And so they're sitting, like the whole crew's sitting there drinking the alcohol, and all of a sudden, like they're like, "What is it about this alcohol that makes us feel two-dimensional?" And they're in a cartoon form, right? And you see Spock, and he's like, "My arm normally doesn't do this," and it's like a snake going up and down. Like, it's freaking hilarious.
Oh my god! Ooh, you almost ended it.
I almost ended the show. Liv is hurt. Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, so here we go.
Kevin Owens is hurt.
Yep, the Raw opened with the Judgment Day out there, and they were talking shit. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Sami goads what's his face, and they're defending his title.
Right, but the whole time Kevin Owens is trying to keep calm, and yet he's still being angry Kevin Owens.
So fun.
I love how they interrupted them, and that's completely okay. But you know, like the week before, he's like, "You're not allowed to interrupt us. Don't you know? Unless we mention you, you're not allowed to come."
And we have Becky and Zoe. Becky won, which means she gets a chance. She gets a shot at
Trish.
Dominic versus Sammy, which was a good match.
It was.
Sammy carried him. It was a good match.
It was. It was a little sloppy.
Yeah.
And you could tell that it was a little sloppy, and Sammy did carry that match.
Yes. So Dom won. Ciampa and Bronson Reed.
Surprisingly good match.
That was a really good match.
Unfortunately, the wrong guy went over.
Yeah. Logan Paul and Ricochet agreed to a match.
Did you like the camera angle?
Which one?
You know when he did the flip.
Which flip?
He did the shooting star. He did the running shooting star press, and it was like from like the angle of like the camera was right here, and Logan Paul's right here, and you just see Ricochet like bam, right? Like
I didn't notice it.
It was maybe it was after the fact and they showed it, but yeah. Now you wanted to talk about Corey Graves, right?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. So Damian Priest and Apollo, Ludwig Kaiser and Drew McIntyre.
Good.
I told Rob I didn't watch this match because my attention was Corey Graves on the announce table doing a spot-on impression of Ludwig Kaiser.
From the beginning of the match.
I'm going to call the rest of the match like this. So I was trying to watch the match, but laughing at him. But I told Rob what made it perfect was he's talking like this and going through a pass and kind of look at him. And he stopped. And his partner's like, keep going. And Corey didn't say anything. And as soon as Gunther turned away, I'm back.
Tino made me promise that as soon as we're done the show, I'm gonna watch that one segment.
So yeah, so that's what that made that match for me. I had to go back and watch the match again and try to tune Corey out. But it was a good match. It was a very good match. And then final Cody Rhodes
put over his mom. Put over his mom.
And made a challenge to
Barack.
If he loses this match, I'm done. Because he's losing too much. They've killed. I think they've killed his momentum.
They haven't, because you can hear that crowd, and they're still. Whoa!
I know, but if they keep making him lose, what's the point?
Well, let's. Okay, so good question, and here you go. You ready? The idea. So first of all, do you think he should have won at WrestleMania?
Yes.
You have not changed that opinion now. No. Okay. So, had he won at WrestleMania, he wouldn't have been challenged yet. No losses since coming back to WWE.
He has lost, hasn't
At that point, he had not. he had won 3 matches against Seth, including the one with the torn pec.
Yeah.
He'd beaten The Miz. He'd beaten Kevin Owens. He'd beaten like 1 or 2 other guys. He'd had like 8 matches.
Okay.
And then he won the Royal Rumble, and then he loses at WrestleMania.
Okay.
That wouldn't have been finishing the story. And that's like overcoming the adversity is finishing the story.
Okay.
Getting, and specifically getting the title that Roman Reigns has is finishing the story. So I even said this like way back. I think that overall the idea of him winning the Royal Rumble in 2024 and going to WrestleMania 40 and winning is finishing the story. But he has to show that he's human. Now, the way that they keep doing that and the way that they're keeping him hot, if you will, is they keep doing these injury angles, right? So, and injury angles have worked in the past. The thing is can you do it for a year?
No.
And that's where I think your statement of, I think they're going to lose something with him. I agree. How do you keep that going, right? Because right now, you don't want him to go against Gunther.
Yeah.
Because you don't want him to have the Intercontinental title, and you don't want Gunther to lose the Intercontinental title. Now, Gunther losing to Drew at SummerSlam, I'm not really following that idea either, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But when it comes to Cody, you got to keep him hot. And there's only a couple guys that are always over.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar's one of them.
Yes.
Hell, Dominic Mysterio is one of them. I mean, NXT ratings last week were through the roof compared to what they had been. Like, I think they beat AEW last week. And there wasn't anything else on that show except for Gable Steveson. Right? So Cody has to go against Bray Wyatt, or he has to go against Seth Rollins, or he has to go against a heel Kevin Owens. But he's a babyface, and Kevin Owens is a babyface. Seth Rollins is a babyface. So who's over and up Brock Lesnar? Well, let's be real. Cody already beat him once. So how do you make it harder for him to beat him again? How do you make it harder for him to beat him a third time? And so you're going to run into that. Now, after SummerSlam, you can kind of put Cody with Seth, Kevin, and Sammy and start looking towards Survivor Series, right? Make them Team Raw. Then you can do that, and that'll keep them all hot because all 4 of them are over right now. But after that, you got to figure out a way to make it so Cody isn't allowed to get into the Royal Rumble. And he's got to work his way back into it. That's how you get the crowd to continue to stay behind him. That's the whole Austin theory.
Yeah.
I said Austin theory. I didn't mean it like that, folks. But that's the whole Steve Austin feeling on that, is that you have to sit there and say, you don't get to see Cody. Now, before it was authority. We're not going to have authority going against Cody because no one wants to scrap daddy against him. Shawn Michaels isn't going to wrestle him. And Triple H can't wrestle him. So you're not going to have that anymore. So how do you do that? You got to figure out a way to suspend Cody. And you suspend him, but you suspend him in a way where he's doing what's right. So him putting his mom over, what if Brock sits there and pulls his mom over the guardrail now? Cody's going to get disqualified. Cody's going to get suspended. Cody suddenly is like, how do I finish the story now? And the crowd buys into that.
Okay.
See what I mean? Like, and now you're with me. Because, and if they want to turn Brock babyface again, anytime Brock wants to be a babyface, well, you still got to have a heel that's ready to go against Brock. if you want to be babyface. That's why when he was babyface, it was against Roman. Because that made Roman even bigger as the heel, right? Same thing, and I would say that on the road to WrestleMania, you'll start seeing Cody get told that he's got to face like Solo Sikoa. And he'll take care of Solo, and Solo will get pissed off at Roman. And then Solo won't be in Roman's corner at WrestleMania, and it'll be literally Roman versus Cody. And that's when Cody gets to finish the story. Anyways, but so there is a way to still keep Cody hot. And sometimes you keep him hot by taking him away.
All right.
Telling the fans you're not allowed to have him.
Okay. Makes sense.
All right. NXT. Gable Steveson
announced
that he is going to be at the Great American Bash this Sunday night
to fight
Baron Corbin.
Yes.
Poor Baron.
Yeah, I don't know how they Wesley and Mustafa Ali go to blows after because Wesley comes down and goes, "No, I want my rematch tonight." Da, 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 da. And Ali comes out like, "No." He goes,
No.
I told you not to wrestle him, and your dumbass did, and that made him go to blows and stuff like that. So so Dom and Rhea got out the ring while Wesley and Ali went at it.
It's good stuff.
That is good. Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Ilya Dragunov against Schism. Now, this was interesting to me because
it's like a strange bedfellows match.
Yeah, but if you know, you didn't watch it. Trick and Carmelo kept tagging each other. So finally, Dragunov had to tag himself in. He was getting frustrated. And there's one point where on the floor, Trick has jumped down because Gacy is talking smack to him. Dragunov comes around the corner, goes to charge,
and hits Trick.
Gacy moves and hits Trick. So after that, Trick's all pissed off. It's like, "Yeah, I want to fight you. I'm going to call you out, blah, 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 blah." And Carmelo's trying to, no, calm him down. I think we're about to see Trick and Carmelo. Because I think Trick is going to cost Carmelo the title. And this is why.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's trying to calm him down. And he's like, "You know what? You do you, but I got to do what I got to do." So he says he's going to call Dragunov at the end of the match. It gets better. So,
okay.
Von Wagner and Julia Bernard, which was interesting because Von won that match. He's down on the floor celebrating. Fucking where the fuck did Braun Breaker came from and speared the fuck
out of Von Wagner?
Yes, speared the shit out of him. I'm like, so I don't know if that's gonna be a new.
Maybe we'll watch that after we watch
the
Ludwig Kaiser moment.
Yeah, you guys see that. Gable Steveson says he's going to stay with NXT because I can go back to the Olympics. I can go back and get another NCAA championship. And he was about to make his announcement. And Baron's like, "Yeah, you go and you go back to the Olympics. You go back to college. But what you better not say is you're going to stay here in NXT." So what the fuck you think's about to happen?
Of course.
Right?
And it's funny, too, because right after WrestleMania, you and I are sitting there going, "What the fuck is up with Gable Steveson? Like, what are they doing with it?" And all of a sudden, hey, right before SummerSlam.
Which I understand. He was a fit. Remember when they did the draft?
He was drafted, but that was last year.
Drafted to Raw.
Wasn't even this year. That was last year.
This is a Raw.
No, this last year.
I think it was this year.
No.
That doesn't look. Kendo Stick match, Cora Jade and Dana Brooke, which was actually a good match.
Interestingly enough. Okay. Although Cora Jade actually is a solid hand. Like Dana Brooke.
Yeah, Tony D'Angelo and Stacks against the newcomers, Brock Neiman, Lucian Price, which
Ali needs to get fired, is what Chris Barrett just said.
Oh, damn, Chris Barrett.
That's mean.
Metaphor finally wakes up Noam Dar. What they did was, have you been watching this at all? Noam Dar lost his NXT Cup thing to the other dude, right? So he's been all depressed because he doesn't have the cup anymore. these bitches got him another cup. So he's like, yeah, I'm the champion again. But no, the champion comes, so they got 2 cups. I got a fucking feeling. You remember when Shawn Michaels left, but he never really lost the Intercontinental belt? Razor Ramon had the Intercontinental belt. I think it's going to be that situation.
They're going to put one on a pole.
I don't know what they're fucking going to do. I don't know how they're going to put that.
They're going to put a cup on a pole.
Big ass trophy on a
trophy on a pole, man.
Oh my god.
A Judy Bagwell on a pole, man.
Viagra on a pole, man.
Oh god.
Okay. No, that wasn't the last match, but it's the match we're talking about for Rhea Ripley and Lyra Valkyria.
Yes.
Which started up because Valkyria lost to JC James. Rhea Ripley's like, I put you over. You know, she's like,
I talked nice about you and everything, and
yeah,
blah blah blah.
and let me down, prove me right. So that caused her to go to Raw and challenge Rhea to this match last night. It was a fucking phenomenal match. There was points where I thought Valkyria is going to do it, but then Rhea beat her. And I told you before we got on, it pissed me off because it would not have hurt Rhea to lose that match, because to get her heat back, all she had to do was like beat the shit out of her after she won. You know what I mean? Like keep her heel heat, but it also helped raise Valkyria.
Yeah, and I before we got on the air, I told you I would try to explain this so that way you wouldn't necessarily like the answer, but at least you would kind of understand where they're coming from with it. Rhea Ripley this year, I don't think has lost a match. And there's a reason behind that. She won the Royal Rumble,
right?
As being number 2,
number
1, number 2. And she beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. So she's. Remember when she went against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and I said this kind of feels like Triple H fixing the things that went wrong the past couple of years. He knows that Rhea Ripley is the next Charlotte Flair. A lot of people think she's the next Chyna.
Yeah.
I don't think she's the next Chyna because at least there are women the same size as her.
Okay.
Right? I think that you'll see her be the one that they start putting in matches against Beth Phoenix, or they start putting, and they kind of did already, right?
I think her next one's going to be Strowman's girl.
Raquel,
yeah.
Sure, and they've kind of started alluding to that, and now that Michael was saying that Liv is injured again, kind of makes sense to put.
And I want to see her and Shayna. If Ronda's leaving and Shayna's staying.
Well, and that's a good point. We obviously are getting closer to seeing Shayna return to prominence because Shayna's going over in that match.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And if she doesn't, it's because she chose to do the favors.
Yeah. Not
the other way around. And I could see her doing that because she really does respect the industry. I could see her sitting there saying, I'm going to let Ronda go out on top, and that's fine. There are times that happens, like John Cena sometimes gets a win, and you're like, oh, well, you should have put that guy over it. But then you're like, but I can kind of see why this guy would let him do that. Like The Undertaker versus John Cena at WrestleMania. It was an 8-minute match or whatever, and John Cena put over The Undertaker when if John Cena wanted that win, he was going to get that win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it comes to Rhea, though, she is so hot right now. And she, it's weird because she's not hot villain. She's not hot babyface. She's just hot mommy, hot champion. Like there's I can't even really put a finger. They cheer her. And they boo who she's with.
Yep.
They boo him out of the building. But most of his reaction is because of her. Same thing with Damian, same thing with Finn. Like right now, all 4 of them get different reactions from the crowd, but they all get reactions. You don't want to fuck with that right now. And having her lose on NXT television, if it's not what the fuck just happened?
Excuse me.
And it's like a long match, doesn't help her. And it is going to hurt her. Because people will be like, why is she losing to this person? She didn't lose to that person. And you're also talking about, like, right now, if she's going to lose, and she's going to lose clean, it's going to be on pay-per-view.
True.
So,
Okay.
so we might not agree, or we might not like it, because you're right. A shocking moment like that, Chris Jericho versus whatever his fucking name was.
Oh yeah.
Rando AEW
I'm
Fight
ready.
Forever, Rando guy.
It was Andretti. I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, Action Andretti.
Yeah.
Which is a horrible name. It literally sounds like a character that you would play as, like, Rando dude. By the way, you played the game. What did you think?
Well, I've been playing the game at the house. Remember, I told you how to figure it out. I like it.
Okay. So now you kind of get what I'm saying with that.
Yeah. All right.
So I don't necessarily like it any more than you do, but that's fine.
So it ends with Trick Williams calling out Dragunov, and Dragunov comes, and for a while, Williams is beating the fuck out of him.
Williams is bigger than him.
Until Dragunov turned on and just started beating the piss. I'm like, that motherfucker's tough as shit. And then it came down to, and the reason why I think that he's going to cost Carmelo, because Carmelo is he's protective of Trick. And I'll tell you why. Trick was in the corner. Dragunov did the hole and was about to run and out of nowhere, he jumped. Next thing you know, Carmelo's in the ring. He nails Carmelo and then knocks him the fuck out. Carmelo jumped and sacrificed himself. And I think I think Trick's going to be, why'd you come out there? I told you I could have handled it. I think Trick's going to be the reason why he loses.
So you're thinking it's going to turn Trick heel and turn Carmelo babyface.
Because Melo's already babyface.
Right, but it's going to turn Trick heel. It's an interesting ploy.
And we'll find out Sunday. Because
I kind of think Dragunov loses because I think they're going to move him up. I don't know, though.
I think Melo needs to go up first.
The thing about Melo going up is that Melo can still do so much with so many guys down there. Dragunov's been NXT UK champion. He's the guy that beat Gunther. Yeah. And you want to talk about a hard-hitting match. Like, that dude literally looked like roast beef by the end.
I watched it.
And that was without crowds in the UK. Like, that shit was crazy. So...
All right, we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, let's hit this.
Yeah.
Yes, you Dynamite. Anything particularly you want to talk about on Dynamite? I'm trying to think what all that.
So
the JS looks like it's splitting up.
It does, and what Tino's talking about there, folks, is Don Callis basically says he wants Chris Jericho to join the Don Callis family.
I got that fucking picture.
He did. And then what? Bruiser Brody.
No. It was what was his name? Bad News.
Oh, Bad News Allen.
Yeah.
It had Bad News Allen, and then it was Don Callis when he still had his hair when he was Cyrus.
Yeah.
And it was Chris Jericho with his long flowing locks, and it's like. But then he sits there and he explains, and if you're willing to join up and be Takeshita's tag team partner I've got the perfect opponents for you. It would be against Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. And he's like, you want me to face Sammy and Daniel? Like, Danny and Sammy? Like, and he goes, well, you wanted them to flap their wings and fly, right? You wanted them and Jericho's like, wow. And he agrees to it. Like, he finally agreed to it. So next week on the 200th episode of AEW Dynamite, Chris Jericho and Takeshita versus Sammy Guevara. And so I'm wondering, from this statement, do you really think Jericho's going to turn on his two boys? Or do you think that he'll do the shaking hands at the beginning of the match and all of a sudden, like, before you know it looks like they're... And then...
he turns on Callis.
You kind of get that feeling, right? And Sammy's already been leaning towards babyface anyway.
Yeah.
So if they do that,
It's gonna make the Jose Edge babyface again.
Exactly. And I like this hat.
Yes. Oh yeah. I want to know why Ty Mello. It just bothered me.
Yeah, why is she on TV?
He's like, how's the baby? Fine. And she's got this big ass belly bump and leather pants. I'm like, bitch, that baby can't breathe.
Her big ass belly bump, by the way, is like 6 pounds.
Yeah, and she's got a tight leather pants on the bottom. I'm like,
she shouldn't be on TV. She shouldn't be at Dynamite. She should be at home.
But anyway, I rather enjoyed the Taya Valkyrie Britt Baker match.
Yes, however, why bring Taya Valkyrie in if she just loses every week?
That's true too.
She legitimately is one of the best female wrestlers in the world.
I thought she did, but now I was like, are we really gonna let her beat Britt though? They probably should have put her against somebody besides Britt.
So here is one of my biggest problems with AEW is that there's either too much interference, and yet they still have a clean victory or loss.
But there was no interference in that match.
Or there's no interference when you need there to be interference because there's no way that Taya Valkyrie should be losing every week.
Yeah. What else? There was the match at the beginning, the Orange Cassidy match. We knew he was going to keep his title.
So
Moxley coming down.
Well, I want to talk about the Orange Cassidy part first. Why are they having him go either spray tanning or going to the tanning bed as much as he is? He is a sloth. He should not care about the fact that he has like 17 shades of brown on his skin.
He's got to have the sunglasses. It's got to be like
Dude, first of all, he looks like he needs a couple weeks off.
His name was Orange.
It's true. It's true. You know what? You get that one. I give you that one. I'm not popping for it, but I'll give you that one. No, you pop for it. That's what almost made me pop for it. But he looks like he needs a couple weeks off. Like, give him a week off at this point. Like they even said he's defended that title 26 times. Give him he looks like the shit's been beaten out of him.
Yes.
And I know that they keep, they've been working on the elbow and they've been working on it, and we don't even want to talk about those two guys that worked on the knees. And give the motherfucker a week off. Give him a week off. He looks tired. Mm-hmm. And one thing I did like about the match, though, was when he tried to do the kip-ups. And he just, bounced. And then he did it again. And then he did it again. And the other guy's like... AR Fox is and another thing I did not like about this match, and I know that it's two different companies, but when Taz sat there and said he's never seen anybody run up the turnbuckle wall and do a flip off of it, when we know we have seen Ricochet do it 1,000 times. Yeah. Like saying, oh, this 16-year veteran, that's the first time I've ever seen. Well, maybe you ought to watch some other programming, bitch. Sorry, I just did a Ty Mello right there. Bitch.
Because AR Fox smacked Cassidy at the end, which brought down Darby, which foreshadowed
Darby versus AR Fox?
No.
Or Darby versus Orange?
No, what happened at the end of the show?
Oh, yeah. John Moxley coming down.
No. When Darby was in his match with Swerve.
Oh, right.
So, but yeah, Moxley came down and fucking drilled Orange.
I was amazed that when Moxley went like that, it didn't bust him open. I could have sworn.
Then he hit him with his move. I forget what it's called. That DDT, that high up DDT.
Yeah, the thing that used to be like the execution. Yeah.
So that match, I'm trying to think of all of it. Like I said, the Darby Allin and AR Fox came at the end after Swerve beat Darby. Swerve beat Darby.
Here was a really odd moment when Renee interviews MJF and Adam Cole, and MJF sits there and runs his mouth about FTR and Dax's
mullet.
Ball. No, that's Cash.
Oh, yeah.
Says, oh, look at you sitting there running out with the mullet, having the business in the front, the party in the back, and then he sits there and says something like, all the women just looking at you going woo or whatever, and the bald Yosemite Sam look, and then he sits there and he's like, and I don't care about your wife and your daughter, and then the very next segment says last Wednesday, and it's Cash and Dax, and they're doing that. Like, it was a completely fucked up moment.
I didn't even realize that.
Because if you notice, Dax sat there and he goes, you better not say anything about my wife and my kid.
I just thought about, oh shit.
Like, they should have shown that before.
Yeah.
Not after. And then, okay, I'm bought in on the whole Adam Cole saying, we're not just friends. We're not even just good friends at this point. You're one of my best friends. And I'm like, who's going to turn on who here?
Adam.
I actually think that Roddy Strong's going to turn on Adam Cole.
We'll see Saturday.
I think, and I don't know if it's going to happen Saturday or if it's going to happen when they finally face each other in the singles match. Because I think they're going to win the tag team titles, which would drive ratings, right? Main event time, Swerve versus Darby.
That one the main event was.
No, you're right.
Blackpool Combat Club, the Lucha Brothers, and Best Friends.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Pac versus Wavelength or whatever the fuck his name is.
Gravity.
Yeah, that's his name.
I like to say, yeah, at one time in his career, he was called the man that Gravity forgot. I'm like, oh, so we can mention that on TV, but you can't. But you've never seen Ricochet flip off the damn.
Well, didn't Pac sit there and say something like, hey, it's nice to see who I forgot, or something like that? I think it was last week that he said something like that, and they were like, oh, the man that Gravity forgot or whatever.
Oh, I forgot one thing. Jack Perry's out there talking shit about how ECU, that's my alma mater, ECW sucked. It was like talking to Taz, you guys, da.
And who came out? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, who came out? All the people they could have brought out. They bring out Jerry, and I understand he works for the company.
Well, who else are they going to bring out?
Bring out fucking Dreamer, bring out fucking Sandman. Pull somebody.
None of those guys work for the company.
Just surprised. I haven't been there.
I mean, Dreamer works for another company. And that Forbidden Door's closed, brother.
And Taz can't wrestle anymore, right?
Correct.
So Jerry Lynn's what we got.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So apparently they're just going to face off next week. I can't understand. Are they wrestling or is this going to be a face off?
As far as I know, it's a match.
All right. Yeah. Well.
And by the way, I would laugh my ass off if Jerry Lynn rolls him up and wins that match. And then he's like, I wasn't ready. Like Santino Marella.
That's what I got.
Because I'll tell you, that's the kind of heel we need Jack Perry to be. Not this, I'm so cool, calm, and collected, wearing my orange shorts and my black I Beat Hook shirt.
I'm not feeling this heel Jungle Boy.
They need him to be a chicken shit heel.
But his delivery has probably he doesn't seem like he's comfortable in that role yet.
I mean, he wasn't comfortable as a babyface.
He seemed a lot more comfortable. I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. I'll wait and see.
I think that they're giving him the mic, they're giving him the ball, and they're saying, take it past the goalposts. And right now, he's doing everything he can to sit there and say, I can do this. And I'm not saying it's working. But I think what would make it work is if all of a sudden he was the Dominic Mysterio character in AEW.
Yeah. But you don't want to Again, but we talk about
have
we don't
Anna
want to.
Jay turn and have her start helping him win matches by sliding him the belt and having him hit someone with it.
That is good. She is a heel.
Yeah, but she's with the JAS because she's Anna JAS.
Is that his? That's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you could do that, or you could have him sit there and start Eddie Guerreroing everything, where all of a sudden he has the belt and he sits there and tosses it at the other guy and then falls down and gets the disqualification win. Like, have him be what would make him. The guy's 170 pounds. It's not like he's Luchasaurus where you're actually scared of him. I mean, hell, Christian Cage is wearing the fucking belt.
That's getting old too.
It's so good with him with the damn turtleneck, though. Admit it. Him wearing a fucking turtleneck down the ring.
They're reliving him when Edge won the whatever, and he was carrying it around the thing, and he was the. Remember, it's the same. They're rehashing WWE storylines.
They do it all the time, dude.
I know.
But you know what? What they're not doing is they're not really catering to what makes some characters that good. Where the fuck is Miro again?
He's well, you're not watching because he's on Collision. That's where he is now.
Well, I thought he was on Collision, but I hadn't seen him.
He's been all was it 2-3 weeks? Yeah, he's been on.
He's been on 3 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'll watch this week at some point. So the Blackpool Combat Club versus Best Friends versus Lucha Brothers. Who won that match?
Lucha Brothers.
So not only did the Blackpool Combat Club
lose blood and guts
and have to shake the hands of the EVPs after losing, they then lost the very next week when the EVPs weren't even on the program. Am I supposed to be happy about this?
I think, I think they're gonna like their little loser streak. You know, I think it's gonna bring them back when Danielson comes back. He's gonna be like, I leave,
and you guys fuck it all up.
I think that I can see that happening.
Well, he already said, I hope I get a chance to wrestle Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to be on that loser streak till he comes back and like, the fuck are you guys doing? I probably smack Monster.
I could see them actually kicking him out if that's the case.
Okay, then lose without him. Okay.
I mean, make him like Danielson's been hurt twice already since being in AEW.
That's true.
So I don't know, man. It's one of those. It's such a tough one to think about and everything. So, but I'm ready to call it a night. Yeah. And this weekend
on Saturday, so I won't be here with you when you do your thing, and then I'll be back in time.
I do thing.
You want to Saturday?
I'm going.
Saturday.
I'm gonna try to go Saturday.
And then Sunday. Gonna have a little. I gotta go to a little get together thing Sunday afternoon, and I'm trying to watch American Bash. And next week we're going to Chicago, right?
Saturday, yeah. Yeah, we gotta figure out driving plans and everything for that.
Oh, I thought we just meet there.
Maybe. I'll talk to you off air.
I was about to say, I don't make.
I'll talk to you off air.
Drive way the fuck here and then drive.
I'll talk to you off air.
Yeah, you talk to me about you driving yourself.
Talk off air. Folks, keep an eye out just for the possibility of different crowdfunding programs that are coming from me. I'm not sure we're going to do it for Zor just because we have time necessarily to do it. But the plan right now is to do a crowdfunding program for Zor as well as Immortal. And obviously, I've already told this show about Standard, so keep an eye out for all of those projects. And then if there's one that I'm talking about that I told you earlier just keeps festering in my head. I'll probably have the first issue of that written in a couple days. So, and I expect that to be like a 4-issue series, just real quick. But yeah, there's the interesting thing is I think 2024 is going to be the year of Apple comics that I originally thought 2020 was going to be.
Really?
Well, if you remember, I thought 2020 was going to be my big year.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're launching at least 2 of my series in 2024. 3 of them almost definitely, and then I I've already told you guys about Died Hard and Hard Boiled Holiday.
Okay.
So I mean, like, there's a good possibility I have 6 or 7 different series come out next year.
Oh, you're gonna? Why not put them out like? Well, I guess next that Die Hard probably makes sense.
I mean, you got to put it out like.
Yeah.
I'm thinking February, March.
Yeah.
So, but I gotta talk to the artist about it because if we're putting it out in February or March, it's gotta be ready for solicitation in October. Anyways, so lots of big stuff coming. Michael, if you're gonna be in Raleigh, let me know. Joe, if there's anybody specific you need me to talk to or try to get something from, let me know about that. I don't normally sit there and offer that kind of thing, but I know that you do it for me, so that's why I'm offering to do it for you. And I really don't have anything else because you want to watch the Ludwig Kaiser thing, and then we want to watch something from NXT. Yes, I want to watch the Where the Fuck Did Braun Breaker Come From? So, Tino, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how to reach you?
I'm on.
Are you on Threads yet?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it just went over. It's the same. That's my same. Was it Instagram? It's SC Tino. I am on the Twitter for now. I might get off Twitter now that I'm on Threads. HoodieFan91. I am on.
Oh man! Tell me what you're working with.
You better recognize.
It's the real one.
It was with the real deal now. You better get your sorry ass up off the streets.
I'm just sitting there trying to put my neck, and you're like, look at this motherfucker trying to be D'Lo Brown. You mess with the real one.
Anyway, catch this show on Twitter, Potsy and Tino. On Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. We're here each and every week on the Potsy Pan Network. Please subscribe, like, buy our shit. Tell them your shit. Yeah. Look at the real deal now.
Oh my God, my shirt. Instagram and Threads, Rob Pochak. TikTok, Rob Potsy Pochak. Another Instagram, Rob Potsy Pochak. Twitter, Pochak. And of course, right here on the YouTube. Rob Pochak. Folks, thank you so much. Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cat. It's available on iTunes for
99
cents. And with that, have your pet spayed and neutered. It's like Bob Barker.
Recognize.
Whoa! Woo! The other day, it was a picture spot going like this, and it said, "Don't use super glue." And I am the man. Woo!